You know, I was thinking about if I'm going to do this video because when you look at what I got for Smackdown and Rampage, it's very little here. I'm just saying, when I do this review, and I'm going to do a general review, I might not be heavily detailed. I'm doing that on purpose because when I look at these two shows, there's not much here. Very little, except for a couple of announcements and just set up for Dynamite. That's it. For SmackDown, literally there's very little here. Very little. We're going to do Rampage first. I'm going to tell you, was the Sammy Guevara in action and Andretti match good? It was fun. It really doesn't give us anything for action and Andretti. What is he going to gain from this? I don't know. What is Sammy going to gain for this? Because we got the Triple Threat Trios match coming very soon. It doesn't really help it. So, there you go. Now, the Acclaimed destroying jobbers. One of them named, what was it? Starboy, I believe. And the other one was named Cartwheel Jake or Jack. They get wiped out. The Acclaim destroys them. Guys, there was nothing here. The Acclaim annihilated them. And then you get the JAS coming out and offering the Acclaim a shot at being a part of their group. Giving them a chance to join. So that means the Guns are no longer an issue with them. It's now the JAS, which is good. They're moving away from the Guns. Now the Guns have to move on to FTR. They got to do something with them. But the question is how far they're going to go. Then, Preston Vance, I believe that's his name. Former 10. I always forget his name because I don't see him much. Since I don't look at dark elevation. So Preston Vance, if that's his name, I believe that's his name. I don't even barely remember his name. Kokosuke Tateska, I do generally remember. I believe his first name Kokosuke. Hakosuke or Kokosuke. I'm bad with names. I'm saying now. They had a good match. I liked it. But the question is, how are they booking with Don Callis? That's the only thing good there. You get Mark. Look, am I glad to see that they're addressing what I said had to be addressed? And that's Mark Briscoe basically talking about the Reach for the Sky ladder match that's happening on the 31st of Super Card of Honor. Yes. I would rather see him hand the titles to the next team than actually being on a ladder. That's what I want. I want Mark to be the one who's going to christen the next tag champions. Not just let them have a ladder match. I truly believe, this is me, I truly believe that the best option when it comes to Super Card of Honor is that the old titles are hanging above. The team wins. And he did promote the Lucha Brothers. But the team that wins, they get they get those titles, but they're not the real titles. They're the Mark Briscoe titles. Mark Briscoe how do I describe this? When the match would be over, you see Tony Khan come out with Mark Briscoe with the bag, and he makes the announcement that, simply put, those titles have been retired. These are meant for Mark. And Tony would be there with Mark. It wouldn't just be Mark coming out saying that these titles are not going to be used. No, it's got to be Tony. He's the one that's running everything. He's the one that's got to make the announcement. He comes out and he says, guys, congratulations, you won, but those are not your titles. And everyone's going, what? And he says, please calm down. These titles belong to Mark. They're his titles with his brothers. They're retired. These two titles have now been officially retired, but these are your new titles. That's what needs to happen. Tony's got to come out with Mark. Tony tells those guys who fought for those titles they are no longer valid. You had to go for them, but they're no longer valid. They belong to Mark. He said simply that they deserve to have one last true fight for them. But they belong to Mark. They belong to him for the rest of his life because they belong with him and his brother. These are your new titles. And he presents them. And it's Mark that presents them, not Tony. Mark gives it to the new two guys there. That's the way it should be. I'm just saying. And he just made the announcement. That's it. Okay. The last match, Rio versus Nyla Rose. What was that? What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? When you need women to be part of the outsiders, you need women to be part of the OGs. What the fuck was that? What was that? It's not the match quality that was the issue here. Nyla Rose and Rio, they've matched each other more than a few times. They've gotten used to each other now. They may not have the perfect chemistry, but they're fine. It was not the point. Nyla Rose lost. Rio got her ass whooped. And the outsiders came out and tagged her. No problem. They made a loser. But two things were wrong. One. They let Marina Shafir and Nyla Rose walk by them without having an issue. And there should have been one. Nyla Rose should join the outsiders. Yes, I know she is pretty much an original. But Nyla Rose should be part of the outsiders. Or she should have fought against them after she went after Rio. Even though she is a heel, she's an original. She was on the very first show with Rio. She should at least defend her. Or should have joined the outsiders. Neither happened. The outsiders tagged her, and that was the end of it. It means nothing. No Britt Baker came out. No Jamie Hayter came out. What the fuck is this? This story sucks because you have women on the roster that deserve better. Nyla Rose is an original. Straight out original, even more than Britt Baker because she was on the first show that had the title on it with Rio. With Rio, for goodness sake. And they're not in the outsiders. They're not with the originals. It's stupid. Either Nyla Rose joins the outsiders or Nyla Rose get attacked by the outsiders because she's a freaking original, even if she's a heel. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. That is it. There was not much on this show other than Briscoe making the announcement for the Reach for the Sky Boys match. Well, I think it's Reach for the Sky's ladder match, not Reach for the Sky Boys ladder match. That's it. Smackdown. Opening, we saw Jay, and he's going to make an announcement. Fine. Then they have a fatal 5-way to be the number one contender for Gunther's title. Fine. I'm glad to see it. But then they decided to do a cop-out. You decided to pin both. You got Sheamus and Drew both pinning at the same time. Really? You couldn't just pick one. You couldn't. You decided to do it like this, and then next week you're going to have them go up against each other to see who's the true one that's going to go. You might as well make it into a triple threat at WrestleMania because they're going to find a very nasty situation where Drew's going to still be cared about, Sheamus is going to still be cared about, and unless you're going to have a nasty feud again with Drew and Sheamus, eventually you may have to do a triple threat. And I truly believe they should have just said to Gunther, you're going to have a triple threat. Deal with it. That's what Adam Pearce should have done. And then we get a Charlotte Flair saying she wants something to do. Gets a match. Gets a match against Chelsea Blackheart, who I knew was going to get her ass handed to her. And she did. Lovely. And the only reason they had this was because of Rhea coming out, staring at her, then having a talk in the ring. That was all that was for. I'm going to tell you this. This is what is going to happen at WrestleMania. It's one of two things. Either Rhea is going to win, which she should. Or we are going to have people riot beyond their fucking brains because once again, Charlotte Flair's queen. Because Charlotte Flair to everyone else means nothing because Vince booked it. I'm saying it right now. We already know Vince was in the back. We already know Vince wasn't just watching and visiting John Cena. I'm saying it now. If Charlotte wins, Vince booked it. Just like he's booked Omos and Brock Lesnar, and just how the show's been acting. Guys, at one point in SmackDown, We had them looking straight at the fans with no graphic. When they're talking about something, normally they show a graphic of it. They showed nothing of it. There was no graphic while it was staring straight in the face of all the fans, and they don't do that. It's very rare for WWE to make a mistake like that, and they normally don't. So something was up. I'm telling you right now. Them staring after about 3 seconds, they would have fixed the graphic. It was more than 10 seconds they talking about something, and there was no computer graphic. Are you serious? No. Sorry. Don't buy it. Okay, the one of the two things that was interesting was Rey Mysterio going in the Hall of Fame. Look, I'm glad to see Rey finally going in because he does deserve it. But here's the question. When are they going to actually pull the trigger on Dom versus Rey? Because we're getting close. Are they going to book it within 2 weeks of WrestleMania? Because we're coming soon. Isn't WrestleMania in April? We're in March. Right now, instead of them already starting it, you got El Gato del Fantasma coming out, defending Rey, and having the match. Rey gets so pissed at what Dom did by kicking him, El Fantasma loses. Rey gets in the ring because Dom wanted him in the ring to talk to him. And literally, I'm going like, are they going to finally do it? Are they going to pull the trigger? They need to do it now because it's nearing April. Nope. Rey still refuses to do anything to Dom. Dom deserved to have his teeth kicked in, and Rey still will not do it. So, when are they booking? They're not booking this damn thing until 2 weeks before WrestleMania at this rate. Are they going to do it like that? That's going to make me think Vince is booking all of WrestleMania. I don't care if this was a Triple H idea. I don't give a fuck. This makes me think of Vince, who was seen in the back having a mustache, who should also go in the freaking Hall of Fame at this point because we want his ass retired. But he's not retiring because we know for a fact that Vince is coming back to take control. So if he doesn't become a member of the Hall of Fame, he's still in the back booking. I'm telling you now. One, if Charlotte doesn't win, we know Vince booked it. If Rey does not get started next week, finally having a match with Dom, that's Vince's booking. That's not Triple H because he would have already done it at this point. I am telling you now. I'm not a big lover of Triple H. I've always said that Triple H should leave WWE and go maybe to Impact Wrestling before AEW appeared. I've always said that he should leave. He's got the ability to run a company. It's not the point if you think it's great or not that he's good enough. He can do it. But at this point, seeing stuff like this, I don't think he's booking this. I don't think he's fully booking how this is building up in WrestleMania. I believe that is Vince. But it's just me. Peace.